You're live. Am I live or am I Memorex? Oh, my cool folder thing fell down last night. I forgot to put it back up. Shit, before I made the video. There's no place like home. I pulled, because it got cold a little last night, and I pulled down my freaking shit. And I forgot to put my shit back in the right spot here. So I used my blankets for the first time in a long time. So anyway, I'll figure it out later. Hope it don't fall down while I'm talking. Yeah, it's gonna fall down. See that? Oh, I just forgot when I started live, I can see behind me. I can't take that any longer. I gotta fucking figure out the backdrop, man. Hold on. Let me fold this blanket. I knocked it down last night. Okay. Going live momentary. There's no place like home. That's what's supposed to be in the background. Dooley Whoppers from St. Louis. What do you think this is? Some kind of live comedy show or something? Damn. Okay, now we're in business. Got my fucking headgear on. We got one person watching. That's a start. Anyway, I haven't done as many shows in the last couple weeks, as you probably noticed, as I was doing. I was doing about once a week. It's about 3 or 4 weeks. I think it's just a winter thing. I've been inviting people, but people have been not coming through or not setting a time or saying they're going to do it and they're not going to do it. And then they don't get back to me. So I think it's just a winter thing because I get like that in the winter. I don't feel like fucking doing anything. When it's hot, I feel like, okay, it's party time. Let's go do something amazing. Or they watch some of my other shows and they thought this guy's too fucking weird. I am a little weird, but I'm not that weird. Shit. So anyway, I met some cute Latina girls on the beach who were selling freaking crystals and all these books. And this was the only book they had in English. They had some books in Spanish and other languages, I think. But one of them said they're going to hopefully come on. So I've been calling. They haven't freaking answered me. So I don't know if any of you guys know who Sofia Cora is. She wrote this book. They're part of a group, which I don't really know what it's called because they have all these little flyers and shit. And they say all this women's empowerment and shit. San Diego, call this number. Go on this website. It shows some fucking thing that happened in June or something, some prayer thing. And then I called the number, left a message, and sent a text message, but I haven't got back. No one's got back to me. And they have this girl named Madonna. Not like Madonna, like the singer Madonna, or the Mother Mary Madonna. What's that Madonna from? Freaking Holy Madonna? Saint Madonna or something? Anyway, they have this new lady, Madonna, they say. And she has some kind of group. And I was reading about chapter, I only read it's been interesting. I've read to chapter 3, but it's only page 28. The Road to Hell. One was called The Funeral. One was called The Ghost. Oh, there's more than 4 chapters. One was called The Lawful State. It's a very interesting book. One's called Suicide. So I guess I'll tell you about the book slowly as I read it, like I did a couple other books. I didn't know what I was going to title this talk because I didn't know what I was going to talk about until I start. Because I knew I was going to talk about this, but I thought I was going to talk about a bunch of other stuff. But I guess I'm going to go through each chapter. So this kid, he's dating this girl who's all spiritual, and she's part of this religious group, which one of the leaders was, according to in this book, was put in jail. And his name is Osho. There's an Osho guy I found on YouTube, which I don't know if he's still alive. He was a spiritual guru, teacher, guy that talks really slow. And he's all, I was thinking about, like, he's like his Yoda looking guy, but he has all this facial hair and big beard and shit. And he's all, yeah. And I try to listen a little bit, but he's like, you have to be really stoned to listen to him because he's freaking really out there and stoned. And he's really super slow in his thinking. And very profound in everything he says and how he says it. So it sounds so deep, you don't know what he's talking about. Anyway, I didn't listen enough to know what he's talking about. But this book is interesting. So I don't know if that's the guy they're talking about who, according in the book, he was put in jail for trying to teach people. They called him a terrorist, which they like to do to people that aren't terrorists, that are fighting against the terrorism system. And so, anyway, the kid, before he decides he wants to commit suicide a few times, and he tries to commit suicide and it doesn't work. He keeps getting woken up before he gets killed. And then finally he does kill himself, but that's after he goes to some guru teacher guy, and these police guys break in and say they're terrorists and take them all and put them in jail and shit, and they torture him and shit. And finally he gets out of jail and he decides, this is fucked. I can't live like this. My girlfriend will be okay. She's part of this religious spiritualism and she can fend for herself, but I don't like this whole reality. It's really talking about current society as really freaking dictatorial and freaking like a futuristic freaking mafia state or something. So maybe this is in a country that I don't know about, because there's a lot of countries in South America that freaking treat people like, well, there was a lot of mafia states like freaking Pinochet, who was run by the CIA. A lot of the death camps, El Salvador and elsewhere, that were trained in the U.S. at the Army School of the Americas, they freaking tortured people, and especially religious groups that talked about peace and love and shit like that. They didn't like any of that shit. They all said it's communism, but in this one they say it's terrorism. So it's like bringing it up to current reality of the world fight on so-called terrorism, which is a big hoax, because war is the ultimate form of terrorism. If there is any backlash from that, which is the chickens coming home to roost, it's never as bad as the wars were that spawned the people trying to fight against the fucking war machine. But they call that terrorism, even though absolute terrorism is war and militarism, which the three fundamental darknesses or the three poisons in Buddhism is similar to what MLK said when he talked about the three evils. He called them militarism, poverty, and racism, which in Buddhism it's greed, anger, and ignorance. So ignorance is racism. The ignorance is you think people are different because of the pigments of their skin, because of the hair colors, because the curliness or the straightness of their hair, or whatever. That's just fucking complete ignorance. There's nothing. It's just a fucking spacesuit you put on, and it means absolutely fucking nothing. But we've all made it something. And the longer we hold on to this idea that I'm white and I'm fucking, no, I'm not. I'm a fucking little pink over here. I'm a little fucking yellow over here. There's no such thing as white people. There's no such thing as black people. We're just fucking spacesuits in different colors. Different color spacesuits, and it means fucking nothing. But anyway, I digress. So when he finally kills himself in the ghost section, he goes off and he above his body, and he sees that everyone's mourning for him. He's like, hey, dude, I'm not dead. What the fuck? What are you mourning for? I'm like, I'm not in that body. I'm over here, man. But no one can see him because he's a disembodied entity. Left his body behind when he killed it, which is the stupidest thing you can ever do. This body is so amazing that we get. We embody this body. I took this body over when I was 2 years old, which I'm a walk-in, which we'll talk on another. We tried to do it on the radio show, and everyone kind of went south. They couldn't comprehend the idea of being a walk-in as I started to talk about what it is, but I'll talk about that another time when you guys are ready. You're not ready yet. But anyway, so what he floats above his body and all that stuff, and he sees these like energies. Anytime someone's depressed, he sees these like energy balls that attack and suck these people's life force, which it's kind of similar to the idea of trapped emotions. Because when in body code and emotion code, when we do trapped emotions, which I did on my radio show for 7 years, I released a lot of trapped emotions on the callers, and I teach them how to release trapped emotions. People who can see them, they're like a little ball of energy. But this group, or this channeling, this was channeled information from the dead kid. So, and says it's confirmed by other contactees or other mediums or other whatever. I don't have a point of view about that because we're all mediums. I'm actually an extra large, but that's a whole other story. I heard a joke the other day. It actually was a true story about the military. No, about the people going off to space. They had these like condoms they had to put over their dicks to pee, and people they had like small, medium, and large, and everyone kept getting the large one because they didn't want to fucking when they asked for a fucking they didn't want to say they had a small dick, right? So everyone just got the large, even though that wasn't the size of their dick. So when they put it on in the spacesuit, it fell off and they would get piss all over them because it wasn't the right size. So they changed the fucking names of them to large, super extra large, and freaking out of this world fucking ginormous or something like that. And then the guys started just getting the large. And when they piss in the spacesuit, it didn't fucking squirt piss all over the place. That's a whole nother story. I went off on a tangent because I just thought of it. But anyway, so after death, after he goes above the body, and then he sees all these like energies attacking, which you can call them demon spirits, I guess, because in Buddhism we do have that idea of the world. There's the 10 worlds, and in the world of animality and is controlled by anger gods, which this is metaphorical for some people, and some people believe it's true. If I can see them like this kid can see them in the dead state, maybe I'll tell you about it. But so far I've done past life regression therapy. I've done future life progression journeys to my future perfect self, year 2424, which is Bizarre Thoughts, which I used to channel, which I don't channel anymore because it got boring. It got out of this world, and people like said, I don't want to be friends with that guy anymore. He's a little cuckoo. So I'm like, okay, I'll stop that shit. I'll just fucking act like I'm normal. I'll be all like, okay, I'm a normal guy. I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna fucking punch a keyboard, punch a time card, fucking clock out, have 9 to 5, fucking take the weekends off and fucking shop with the kids. I tried that shit. It sucks. No, it's probably cool if you don't have as abusive wife as I had. But anyway, I have a beautiful daughter, so I stuck with her because of the beautiful daughter. But now I'm kind of unstuck. And that's a whole long story. I'm always going off on tangents because I love to do tangents because I'm a fucking tangent man. Okay, so after death, he goes to the funeral and that's where he sees the little things attacking too. But he also sees above each church, he sees these like freaking entities, like these huge gods, but they represent each different faith. And it's just a mystical being that exists in another plane that's feeding positive energy to these people that believe and worship. So it's like not saying that one is wrong or one is right. It's just that they all have a point of view. And the cool thing about Access Consciousness, which I discovered in Japan through energy healing radio shows I was listening to, they say consciousness includes everything and judges nothing, which really, I was in a lot of judgment as a Buddhist growing up all my life, Buddhist, about Christians and other religions that I thought were inferior and childish because they believe in some father being, which I never had a father because my mom ran away from him. And I had a stepdad who beat me up because he was from the military background and he was Mr. Rules and Regulation. I didn't believe in any of that shit because I was raised as a hippie. But I forgive him for that now because I love him. He's still my stepdad. I took his last name legally because I had no other choice. Because my mom changed it to white and I lived in a fucking all Mexican neighborhood and white doesn't sound good because they call you widow all the time. Anyway. I lived in the ghetto, man. I was a bata. I was a vato and a bata. Oh yeah, this vata's a girl. I wasn't a girl. I was a vato. But I like the batas. But I never went out with the bata because I was always too shy. And they were always older than me, the cute ones. But anyway, so finally he kills himself. He goes to the funeral. What else does he do? I'm at the road to hell. Oh, I guess he's going to go to hell and he's going to come back. I haven't got to that part yet. So that's the next chapter, go to hell. I imagine because he wanted to kill himself. he has to go to some place to suffer, to realize that he shouldn't have tried to kill himself. He shouldn't have been wrong. Shouldn't have been judgmental about society. It's what do you make of it and whatever. I'm just projecting what it might be. But it's an interesting book, and whoever wrote it, I'm hoping to get them on my show. I tried to call a few other authors that I wanted to get on the show, which one of them said they're going to be on, but then they never followed up. There's so many people said they were going to be on and they never fucking followed up, like the two people running for Congress in my district, which the one who won didn't even live in my district, which freaking sucked ass that she was able to win because she worked for Obama administration and she was a freaking pretty white girl, and there's mostly minorities in my district, and most people make about 47,000. I think that was median income is 74,000, which is more than I ever made. So I'm on the lower end of my spectrum of my 53rd district, which I tried to run for Congress, got the paperwork in late. But the girl who won makes billions of dollars, and she's an insider in Washington. And how the fuck she won without even campaigning, because I never saw her, and I asked her to be on my fucking radio show, and she never came on. I still want to get her on my radio show to tell her, why the fuck, what are you going to do for us, man? Mrs. Billionaire in fucking Washington, and you probably don't live here, and you're just fucking got hand selected by the fucking Democrat Republicans or whatever the fucking party is, and currently puppet heading for the corporations that rule them. She seems more progressive, just like Obama seemed, but he didn't do anything progressive when he got in office. So it's like virtue signaling, her whole fucking messaging, which I stand for this and stand for that, but I'm not going to do anything when I get to fucking Washington because I work for the corporations. I was just virtue signaling and say, oh yeah, I believe in global warming and I want to fight it, but I'm not going to do anything that jeopardizes my bosses in the fossil fuel industry. I'm going to still do pipelines from freaking through Indian reservations and shit. And I'm still going to fucking frack the fucking government into hell, come higher hell water. Anyway, I'm fucking on a tangent with that fucking whole right wing, left wing conspiracy bullshit. That is just a joke that we all like, we're separate. We're fighting each other while the fucking people that are pulling the strings of both parties are going, look at them. They're fucking stupid asses. They think there's a fucking difference between a Democrat and a Republican. There's no difference. They work for the same fucking bosses. They just talk pretty, whatever you like to hear. Like fucking Trump, he talked good shit. And all the people thought, oh yeah, he's going to help me out. What did he do? He fucking, the largest distribution of wealth to the fucking top 10% ever in the history of fucking mankind, humankind, womankind. He fucked us all out. And you know who helped him? The person who's supposed to run the other party is supposed to be in opposition, but they're not really in opposition. They're both fucking in bed with the same fucking rich oligarchs. Plutocrats stealing our wealth from all the workers. Yeah, Mrs. Nancy Pelosi, freaking right-wing fucking warmongering fucking capitalist punk that acts like she's a progressive. Mrs. Mama Bear. And I do believe there's a lot of good people in Washington trying to do good, but they're fucking fighting against, especially when they're in the Democrat or Republican party. They're fighting fucking the corporate coffers, and they have to fucking toe the line after a while, like AOC and Ilhan Omar and Bernie Sanders. They stay in the party, they're going to fucking have to toe the line, and they're going to fucking, the party's going to fuck them up the ass. So we need to start a workers' party. That's all there is to it. We're going to start a people's party, not a fucking corporate oligarch party that was run by the fucking same corporations that fucking fucked us out of all of our homes in 2005 and fucked us into all these wars that had nothing to do with anything. September 11th was a total inside job. And if you don't fucking realize that by now, you're fucking sleeping under a rock and you need to wake up and smell the coffee. But anyway, they talk about a police state here. Hopefully they'll get into fucking 9/11 because I would love to hear what their point of view is on 9/11. Because if you think fucking 19 guys with box cutters who fucking lived across the street from the CIA headquarters and FBI headquarters and freaking had registrations with the fucking FBI and CIA headquarters for their fucking visas and shit, and they were supposed to be on doing all kinds of weird flight simulation shit. They didn't know how to fucking fly, but they didn't really matter because they weren't going to be flying because they were going to be controlled fucking from the top floor of the Building 43, which was Mayor Giuliani's bunker in a case of emergency, which happened to fall without an airplane hitting it down because people in the fucking government who were white hats, fucking brought down the Shanksville with a missile. They brought down, that was supposed to hit the freaking tower that had the Enron case up in the 46th floor underneath Giuliani's office, and they wanted to get rid of all the paperwork for that Enron case because it involved both parties, and that was the biggest news story until 9/11. Wiped it out, and there was no more talk about Enron after that. They're like, oh, that was a convenience. Oh, just a quinky dink. That was just a quinky dink. We no longer talked about that. I'm a quinky dink theorist. I don't believe in conspiracies. I believe in quinky dinks. They're all fucking quinky dinks. Anyway, I'm going to end because I'm getting off on a tangent. But if you know these people, or if you're listening and you're from this organization, you're wondering why you should come on my show, that's why you should come on my show, because I fucking know what I'm talking about. And I love you all. And peace out. And there's no place like home. So come on down to my home. And mi casa es su casa ese.